I guess we live, man.
We
Damn.
are live. We are live.
We live. We live. We live. Seed talk stuff to make your seeds walk.
See you all.
So we live on. Man, I didn't mean to do the live, but okay, I guess we live. Um. So what we talking about today? We've been talking backstage. First, before we get started and whatnot, man, make sure you donate. Cash App, Logic On Man, Venmo, at Logic On Man. You know, we like to get paid for our time and what we're doing. I'll let my co-hosts tell me what their Cash Apps are and their Venmos are if they want to do that. But we got a couple topics we want to talk about. I mean, mainly, I want to go over this whole what is black masculinity. Um, and also what is emasculating a black man. And we've been talking about two particular situations. Number one, that Ciara Russell Wilson thing where she's on a red carpet and she's in a see-through dress and whatnot. They're like, oh man, here's another black man being emasculated, a woman wearing the pants without even wearing any pants. And then we got ASAP Rocky and Rihanna on the cover of Vogue, and she's taking the lead, and he's got the baby in his hand. Um, I want Precious to start it out because she had a mouthful to talk about it, but let's get into it.
All right, since I'm gonna start with the Rihanna and ASAP situation first. I think that's a little straight, more to the point. The Vogue magazine is a photo shoot. The photo shoot was about Rihanna. It wasn't about the both of them. She included her family, her family with her, but the Vogue photo shoot was about Rihanna. She is the main star here, whether you like to accept that or not. Rihanna is the main focus, and that picture, people was making so sort of dissecting it. I didn't see nothing but a woman who is a very huge mega billionaire superstar on the face of a face fashion magazine. Rihanna is a fashion icon. In terms of, oh, he looked like that he was being emasculated. What does emasculation look like in that picture? Just because she's leading in the front, like what does that? Are we indicating women are not allowed to lead or incapable of leading? Even if that's, even to me, I don't think that's what that picture was even indicating. It's about Rihanna. It's about her life. So to me, people just want to get mad about anything. But again, I'm pretty sure Rihanna will pay pretty well to take that damn photo shoot. And speaking of ASAP Rocky, have y'all not been saying ASAP Rocky on these Louis Vuitton ass lately? ASAP got the Rihanna touch been all over the damn place. So ASAP seemed like ASAP got the hook up. Anyway, on to the Ciara and Russell.
Oh,
I'm gonna say
yes.
this too. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it for the last time. You cannot you can't compete where you don't compare. What Ciara wears on that rare carpet versus to women like myself on a micro level, or how we would wear something like that, it's not the same. It's not going to be perceived the same.
Mm-hmm.
Ciara wearing, for what I'm told, a $400,000 dress, got paid 600 grand, 600,000 grand to wear that dress on a red carpet at Vanity Fair versus a woman of my stature wearing it to the club. It's not going to be the same.
Mm.
All right, it ain't gonna be the same. And what I'm about to say, and Russ, and another thing, my bad, I had to cut. I'm sorry, my laptop and all kind of on dying. I didn't chart it before this, so sorry, y'all. But the point is, I ain't heard Russell face look like he was enjoying her beauty. I ain't heard him having no complaints, and I'm pretty sure he saw that damn dress before she put it on, when she put it on, and when she walked out the damn house in that damn dress. Okay, I'm pretty sure he saw all that. These celebrities are paid to wear these outfits on the red carpet. You're
Yeah.
not the same, fellas and ladies. You're not the same. So for the men saying, "Oh, I will never let my wife," most of you don't even have a wife to even tell that to.
Yeah.
You're not even married or even have a partner or probably divorced. You mean telling anybody or put your foot down on nothing? Who? You can probably tell your daughter that, maybe. But that's if she ain't living with you, you can't tell her shit either.
Precious on the road tonight.
Let her go.
And,
Hey,
and part of
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna pass it on to Bobby. I'm just gonna say real quick to add on to what Precious said. These people are celebrities. They're here to entertain us, and when they're in front of the camera, they're in costume. They're in uniform. That's what I would say. And so it's like, if you think this mirrors real life, if you think that Russell Wilson and Ciara are going to Roof Steakhouse dressed like that, I think you're mistaken.
You exaggerated. That would be the big exaggeration. And about that Vanity Fair, apparently she was on dress code because there was like 8, 9 other women who were in similar outfits. So obviously, that was the theme of the party.
Right. It's like going
So
to the beach. If you go to the beach, you're gonna wear a swimsuit.
yes, and speaking of swimsuit, that's actually been like little mesh cover up that women wear to the beach that look just like that. They may
Right.
have their swimsuit under it, but nonetheless.
Right. What you think, Bobby?
I think there's a tendency in our culture to use the word emasculate when really what people are saying is that it's embarrassing. They're saying that if they as men were in a relationship with that female, they would be embarrassed by that behavior because of how other men would respond to it.
I'd be like, that's a bad woman.
Like they would be embarrassed because one of the homies would say something like, "How you gonna let her walk out like that?"
Right.
And that's what all that's about. But for me, if we've been in a relationship for a significant amount of time and you pursued this person over a period, you know who you're pursuing. So there's very few of us out here who are going to pursue a woman that looks the way that Ciara does, who's built a career the way that Ciara has, and then expect her to become a Puritan or a Quaker. She was never a Quaker. She was never a Puritan. She may have went to church on Sunday, but after that, all the other days, she's an entertainer. So the idea that her entire life would be transformed by her commitment to Russell Wilson to the extent that it would stop her from being an entertainer or collecting checks for wearing other people's clothing is kind of ridiculous to me. And I don't think that Russell Wilson had that expectation either. But what I really don't understand is our infatuation with other people's relationships. Because if he's not embarrassed, who cares?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying.
You saying that you would be embarrassed is more of a reflection on how you would respond to dating somebody who's high profile. So like, maybe you wouldn't be the best candidate for Megan Thee Stallion or somebody who is a provocateur. But if you think that because you're in a relationship with Megan Thee Stallion, she's not going to be a provocateur anymore, you're out of your damn mind. That's a part of her character. In the same way that if you were a garbage man, if you think if the female gets with you and thinks that you're going to stop picking up them garbage cans, she's out her damn mind, because that has nothing to do with your relationship. That's just what they do. And I think that this idea that your relationship comes with some sort of start career over mode is kind of crazy to me. Comes with create a new persona. It's kind of crazy to me. I'm not with that. I think that's unreasonable. But also, it's an unreasonable standard to say that because one other person in the community might be embarrassed, that it means that you're being emasculated. If you're being emasculated, that's a personal thing. That's why I loved what Johnathan Majors was saying recently. He's like, oh, so he carries that cup and he's like, watch what gets poured into it. He's like, only I can fill my cup. And that was a great physical manifestation of this idea of you control your own feelings, you control your reactions to things. So if everybody around you is saying you should be embarrassed, but you're not embarrassed, what's the problem?
But let me ask you a question to Bobby first, and then Precious. Like, where do we draw the line though? As a community, you said you are really interested and fascinated with our fascination with other people's relationships.
Yes.
If we talk about building community, at what point does other people's relationship, have to do with how we run our community?
I would say where there's codependent substance abuse, where there's domestic violence, where there's economics, where there's things that actually, if you multiply them out and extrapolate them upon at a macro level, that there will be a consequence. But you show me the data point for girls wearing pasties who are in a relationship multiplied by 100,000. What does that equal out to? What does that mean? Where's the consequence? What is the net impact? I could tell you that if each one of us saved $10 and we multiply it by 100,000, I mean, I'm not good at math, but we could do that on a calculator and see how much money we saved as a community. If I could say if each one of our kids drop out of school because there's no parent at home that cares about education, I could tell you what that looks like when we multiply that. So I care about stuff that has data points and metrics that actually create consequences. This to me has no consequence except for things that we make up here. That's my perception of it.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. You'll ask me the same question?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, at what point do other people's relationship become, a centerpiece of our conversations when we talk about building a community? Because at some point, it other people's relationship has to be a conversation.
I think when you, this is going to sound kind of weird, I would say when it comes into your household or when it is somehow entering your relationship, whether because you're friends with somebody in that relationship or it's someone you know personally. Because while we can sit and look at celebrities' relationship, we only know what the media shows at face value. At the end of the day, we're not around these people to where we can make that just a man. What did their relationship say about me? That's why I never was really a fan whenever I heard, oh, so got cheated on. What that mean for the rest of us? Not a damn thing. It means something about that person's relationship and what they got going on.
Mm-hmm.
So can we look at, I think the problem I think we have to be careful is that we don't project our personal feelings or thoughts into our own relationship based off what we've seen from someone else. Especially if we don't got nothing like that going on in our relationship currently. I don't think that's wise to do, because at the end of the day, you're not there. We only seeing the window of what's going on. And I had to learn not to engross that into my own relationships. So I understand people do look, and I think it's a terrible thing we do that. I know a lot of people in our community tend to look to celebrities for relationship goals or how a marriage supposed to look like, which is why I think, and I'm not trying to change gear, I think that's why the whole Will and Jada is such a huge topic. Because for many years people put that marriage on such a high pedestal of what a black love supposed to look like. But when we start to learn the full truth, or when the white curtains start to peel off, I think a lot of black people felt betrayed. I think a lot of them felt betrayed. They felt like they've been hoodwink or bamboozle, because they've been looking at marriages like theirs as a example of a trouble what to be like in their own relationship, despite the fact they don't know shit about these people. So, and again, where we draw the line, I don't think there's really a line to be drawn. I think it's a line. I think the line will be drawn between you and the person you're in a relationship with.
Yeah, I think it's a case by case, occasion, event by event, circumstance. If we're going to a ball, if we're going to the beach, if we're going to a rally, if we're going to a classroom, those denote different attires and uniform. If I'm going to the beach, we should wear swimsuits.
Of course. Get chest out, all kinds of stuff. That's the place for it.
Exactly. If I'm going to a ball or an event that's like that, you feel me? What's the theme? Like you said, Precious, if the theme is to show off your body and, get sponsored by these designers and stuff and wear stuff, I'm going to do it. Russell Wilson, when he goes out and he plays football for the National Football League and he risks his body and his brain, I want the same criticism. So she'd be like, oh, you can't go out there and risk your life, to do what you need to do. You can't wear that uniform. And that's where I go deep about it. And that's how I see relationships. I feel like they're both making sacrifices. The sacrifices that Russell makes by Ciara, if he does make sacrifices by Ciara wearing what she wore at the ball, it's the same sacrifices that she makes when she allows him, quote unquote, allows him, because they both grown. When she allows him to wear that uniform and that helmet and risk his life every single time he goes out to play. They are a business. Like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a
businessman. But there's a comma after business.
Let me handle my business. Damn.
Yeah, that is a business. It
is.
Rihanna and ASAP Rocky, Ciara and Russell Wilson are a business. That is a business. Everything they do in the public eye, for the most point, is to generate income and to fortify their brand. And for us to take that and say, oh, I'm going to absorb this and internalize this and make decisions in my personal relationship, you're wrong. You're clumsy. You're being irresponsible. Unless your relationship rotates around the same brand that they have. When you are taking picture, does it mean there's going to be money in your bank account? I doubt it.
No.
It literally means money in their bank account when they're photographed. Literally.
But Logic, like Precious was saying, think about this. There's a sickness that's out there, okay? You got people in our community that says Ciara can't make single people music because she's not single, okay? Like the lengths that people are going to follow these people they don't know and treat them as prophets is outrageous. It is
definitely
sick.
Outrageous.
It is
because
sick.
like and it's like you talking about Ciara talking about, okay, well, she's not a single woman, she's a married woman. I'm pretty sure these rappers who talk about violence now, they probably not really doing no violence. They sitting in a white neighborhood where they kid go to the best school and they drinking Starbucks on the way, going lunch and dinner with no problem. So it's like people have, for some reason, I don't know where that line or what happened to that ledge that people fell over to where they in this full belief that everything that these artists do in their work, it reflects who they are as a person when they are literally entertained. That's why they call them entertainer. They're just there to entertain you. They're not telling you their life story. Some people may be telling the truth about their life, but they may not be. Like, I wonder the look on their face when they find out half the thing that Tupac rapped about, he never personally experienced himself. And he said it in the interview. I forgot what year it was, but he said
he was a terrible drug dealer.
Yeah, he would never he never really, he said he rapped about things that he never personally experienced. He spoke about other people's stories. So it's just like artists are exactly that. They're creators. They create things for entertainment. And I'm glad what you said earlier, Logic, about how those two relationships are a business. Because I keep telling people, a lot of people don't like me when I say it, but that the true origins of marriage is a business financial move. It always have been one. I had so many people come at me for, but I was knocking them all off with a pitchfork. I was getting every last one of them. But the point is,
whack-a-mole.
I was popping them.
Hey, she's on a roll.
I'm on a roll. I've been on a roll for the past couple months. People did not like me when I told them that. I said the concept of love is a fairly new concept and it only came probably in the last 100 years. Other than that, marriage has and will always be a financial move. And that's why people on a micro level like ourselves that hadn't got the concept will always feel conflicted when they see the likes of Ciara and Russell or Rihanna or ASAP or Beyonce and Jay-Z and how they move and do things they do. They marriage a business.
I think, yeah, to add on to what you said, thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you for reminding us that marriage is a business. It really is. You know, if you're going to use that word marriage, I think you should use other words. I think that, and that's the reason why a lot of people these days are starting to use the term life partner. Because that's something different. And I feel like if you are married, that's one thing. I think that should be connected to the business part of it. But when we talk about that's my life partner, that's my friend, that's my spiritual partner, that's something else. But that's neither here nor there. But I think that Black men specifically need to just stop the cap, as Bobby would say. Let's just take out the fitted caps, the new eras, and say,
Take
and
off
just
the
be
cap.
honest and say, exactly, stop the, what
Stop the
is,
cap. That's my wig cap. It was right here. I took my hair. I took my wig off. I had to wash my hair.
I'm going to officially tell you on C Talk, don't ever do that again.
I'm sorry.
Please, God, no more cap.
No, I'm so serious. Like that traumatized. What was okay? Anyways,
What you thought it was?
anyway, let's just don't be doing stuff like that. I'm trying to keep my train of thought, and you
But
got
what you
me.
thought it was?
Don't pull it up again, please. Don't.
What you think it
What
was? You thought it was a condom? What you thought it was?
Okay, I can't. All right. Hey,
Responsibility.
anyways, let's get back on point. I think that we as black men need to stop the cap, like Bobby be saying all the time, and stop gaslighting people and say we feel like we're losing control and management of our black women. That's what we really feel like when we see these images of Russell like co-leading a relationship, or oh my God forbid, ASAP Rocky is taking care of the children.
Shut down the factory.
Oh my God, that's such a bad thing. It's like we have learned from white men that we are supposed to control and manage our black women. And if we get any kind of indicators that we are not in control, complete control or management of it, then it's like, oh my God, his masculinity is being questioned. Oh my God, who really wears the pants? Oh my God, he's being emasculated. No, he's just being himself. Do you know how hard it is to be a black man and always feel like you have to be in power and control? A break would be nice.
And you know what? And I'm liking what you're saying, Logic, and that just kind of go to show, you know what? The fact that so many black men have an issue with that sort of narrative, like they feel like they're losing control over the black woman, it makes me kind of think it's like the answer to quote unquote to save the community is if with black women went back being subjugated and oppressed. That's what it's starting more and more like every day that they come up with when they have these sort of rhetorics. It's starting more and more. That's why they say, man, women back then did this, that, and third. Yeah, probably because the odds wasn't in their favor during that time compared to today.
Mm-hmm.
The odds were different back then. That's why they want their grandma to be their wives today.
But it's kind of projection though, because
it is.
If you look at the statistics on education, on income, on meaningful employment, anything that we would measure typical material success by, black men are behind black women. Like by any measurable data. So when you know that, then I think it's a natural consequence, like Logic was saying. It's a response to the anxiety around feeling like you're losing the lead. And it's anti-competitive. Like when my niece, who's 10 or 11, asked me about racism, like how does this start? I talked to her about how if you bring folks here to work for free, and then one day they stop working for free, but they develop all the skills you haven't while you were employing them for free. And then you realize, oh, if we go into an open market situation, only one of us has a resume that said we've been doing this the last 5 years. The first thing you're going to do is say, how can I disqualify them? And now you're starting to see that same thing when we talk about the gender dynamics in the community. Again, it's the anxiety of saying we're not where we're supposed to be. Even if you took it in the most positive light and you said it's not about dominating women, it's just about being a man under the traditional metrics. I think that people are seeing in the data, we're struggling to do that. And we don't go into the why, we just stop at we're not being effective at that as a group. And because we're not being effective at that as a group, when we see, I don't want to call them consequences, but the symptoms, and we see things that remind us of it, I think that's triggering for some people. But I don't see that as being triggering for any of the men who are successful in that under the typical metrics of being a man. I don't see that from them. I see it from the people who feel attacked or triggered by their own lack of success in that traditional sense. And that's probably just a human response. But it looks bad when it's always popping up from every little thing. Someone takes a picture. How are they oriented in the picture? Are we really saying that a man has to be in front of a woman in a picture and that makes him a man? Like, that's so weak. But it absolutely makes sense to me that that's, again, it's a response to saying, well, I can't let anybody see that I'm not the breadwinner. I can't let anybody see that I have anxiety about protecting my family. I just can't let anybody see that, because then I wouldn't be a man to everybody around. And I honestly think that's what it is.
Yeah, I never knew that Black masculinity demonstrates its strength by being so fragile to women leadership.
Right.
That's weird to me.
But you're successful though.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Your example of a strong Black man is you to be completely fragile to anything that's feminine. That's weird to me.
If you're failing by traditional metrics, that's the key part though.
Traditional metrics are made by, by white folks and Europeans, that we're going by their value system.
That's what you
Correct.
said.
So weird to me. I would do that photo with Rihanna in my sleep. I wouldn't even think about doing it. Like,
if you were having your child,
I'm holding my child.
You did some man stuff with her, by the way.
So what?
I said, if Rihanna had your child, you did some man stuff with her, by the way. Just saying. Just saying.
And got another one on the way.
Like,
so.
you think that I'm gonna let anybody clown me about that?
Exactly.
I'm like, oh yeah, but I know you couldn't get her to pop one out for you though.
Exactly. That's the same way I feel like with Russell Wilson and Ciara. Like, her wearing that is, what's the problem? She's safe. If you're safe, that's a segue to being responsible. It's nothing that's going to happen to her. What's wrong?
You know what I really think it is though? These men, I don't know. Let me just say I don't know ASAP Rocky's personality or his temperament. I don't know much about him until he got Rihanna. I'm dead serious. But I'm just gonna take a shot at the dark and say I think another reason why they feel like their masculinity is being treated, because they don't behave like the men that they want to be.
That's what I'm saying. They're not accomplishing the stuff they want to accomplish as men.
Yeah, they like this. Why I said I think the reason why I'm gonna talk about Black men. I think the reason why I think a lot of Black men have such a vitriol towards Ciara, because they love Future more than she loved him. And I'm not talking about in terms of gay. I'm talking about Future is the type of nigga they want to be. That's who they persona. That's their good example of what Black masculinity is a Future.
That's their goat.
That's their go. That's their go. That's the boss level for them. That's the boss level for them is a Future. But Russell and a ASAP not really a Future. At least I don't think ASAP Rocky. Again, I don't know him, so I could very well be wrong. But those two don't embody that type of dude. In fact, Russell and ASAP Rocky may come off as the quote unquote the corny guy or the simps that many men like to talk down on, but those are the ones who get the good women. That's the part they don't this is why I say a lot of men tend to cop block themselves in every shape and form. Like, you instead of taking notes from a Future, take notes from a Russell and the ASAP Rocky, because obviously it's something about these men that these high profile, beautiful, established women was drawn to them.
Right, but
they're taking advice from the wrong. They're taking advice from the wrong mother effer, and then they went by they mad.
But like you said, though, I mean, think about how toxic that is. If we're gonna really care about relationships, what's toxic here? Like valuing somebody whose response to a failed relationship is to start more failed relationships, or is it to value the idea that okay, somebody it just so happens to be Ciara, but it could be anybody. Anybody can be in a relationship that fails and then enter a healthy relationship. Why do we have issue with somebody starting a healthy relationship? Because you're a fanboy of the person that they broke up with? Again, it's weird. I don't understand the worship. It's too much.
And on top of that, it's like Ciara did exactly what people been telling black women to do, to choose better. But guess what? She sure the fuck did, and it's been perfect for her ever since. I think they've been married for 8-9 years, probably longer than that now. I don't. They've been married for a minute.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't like to talk about them specifically because people get into the team membership.
Yeah, but it just kind of goes to show people love toxicity. They just love the toxicity. They can't leave it. That's the only thing they can relate to. That's the only thing they can vibrate with. That's pretty much for a lot of people. That's their life cycle. That's their life cycle. It's something toxic. They can't help it. They can't help it. That's why they will get offended when you mention therapy. They think something's wrong with therapy. A lot of people turn it down because they think it's something wrong with it. The toxicity is how they breathe. It's how they spawn. It's how they stay energetic.
Oh, it's the fuel for the fire.
It's the fuel.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, if you talk about those specific people, it ends up being, what fan club am I in? Which it bothers me because the relationship dynamics are so far outside of our world.
It is.
But I think the idea that the success of your partner is to your detriment is something that's truly toxic that has to be addressed. Like to Logic's point earlier about when does something that's private, when does something that's between two individuals become true news or community worthy discussion? It's where the success of your partner threatens you. Like that's an issue. That's an issue. You should, as a community, we don't have enough resources to root for our partners not to do well, especially where both people are black. That's totally like I don't see where we're in such a good spot that we can say, oh, we should tell sis to slow down on the success because that way I'll retain my spot at the top of the relationship pyramid, and that'll be good for all of us.
No, I know I've been in that predicament before, but go ahead.
Let me ask both of y'all something. What will be the situation where you would advise your significant other not to wear something in public that may be revealing or something? Like, what will be the situation? I mean, I think that's what a lot of people are talking about. Like, I don't want to gaslight the public to be like, oh, these are celebrities and stuff, but we still want to bring it back into a community thing. Like Preston said, like, we go to the club looking a certain way. Like, at what point do you say, nah, come on, sis, come on, bro, we can't wear this to the club? No, you're not doing that. You're not showing off. Stop wearing a gray sweats with no underwear, bro.
Yeah, like so that's probably the only thing I could probably see. Or some guys, some men still sag, some men still wear skinny jeans. I mean, I personally never dated a man who wore skinny jeans, but
so you would.
Yeah.
But I'm saying you would get in their ear and be like, "Hey, babe, we're not doing this today."
I'll probably let's say that for another time. It depends on where we're going, though. Where we going? Like, if we're going somewhere like out to eat, or we're just going somewhere casual, I probably wouldn't care if you looked good in it. But I want to say, oh, I don't want nobody looking like. No, I'll tell you not to wear something because it looks ugly, or it don't look right. You
don't have a problem with your significant other showing off their body.
Again, where are we going to be at?
Say they're going to the club and he just want to wear a blazer with no shirt because he's been working out and he got abs and he got a chest. He looks like Johnathan Majors.
Shit. I probably wouldn't mind because I'll be staring the whole time.
Because she's gonna be safe, she's gonna be good. I'll be gonna be looking. Shit.
I'm probably gonna be looking.
Yeah.
If it's good like that, hell yeah. You can go like that.
I only had this scenario even come up once, and it wasn't about clothing. So this came up. So a long time ago, not anywhere near in the present tense, but
I know you got a relationship though.
A decade ago, though, like in my early 20s, I was dating a girl who smoked marijuana.
Oh,
Okay.
And I don't partake in any drugs or alcohol, but
talking.
she did. And I got invited to this function for the breakfast group in Seattle. And I was
The judge
hmm?
with the judge.
with all the judges that are black
Okay. Yeah.
and all the successful black men in King County, practically.
Right.
And it was like me and like 3 other people that were under 30 years old there. And in my opinion, I was kind of being patronized because I didn't belong in that group in terms of my ability to financially participate in this organization. They just took me in as somebody that they felt could be a member at some point in a serious way. And I felt honored to be there. So I had just kind of told this person, I don't know what the questions will be that come up at dinner. I don't know any of that. I just know that I want us to be the best versions of ourselves at this particular event because it's important to me that I seem to be the person that they think I am, even if I don't think I am yet. And she showed up and she had that odor on her. And in my head, I was done with her right there. I was done because I was like, you couldn't not do that once, or you couldn't avoid that right now. Because who cares how you feel about your habit? This is about how they perceive me as well. And you're a reflection of me because I'm bringing you. And
Correct.
there's somebody out there who will not appreciate that. But the person who doesn't appreciate that is not for me because I have lofty goals and ambitions. And some of those are going to put us in a position where we're going to have to abstain from certain language, even. Like, there's a lot to getting to the places that I want to go to. And if you can't even make this de minimis sacrifice, you're just not going to work out.
Right.
And now, so for me, that was the closest that it came because it was about how you presented. I would have rather her showed up in Ciara's dress. I would have rather her showed up looking, where I would have paid her to show up in Ciara's dress before she smelled like the plants. But to me, the worst thing anybody could have said is she has a good shape. That's the worst thing anybody could have said. Or she shouldn't have worn that here, I guess. But to me, that whole decision was a bad look. And that to me is like that's the closest I've came. But again, that person had full autonomy, and I almost felt like afterwards they only did this because I made the request that they didn't.
Oh, well, that's something else.
Which is another reason not to be with that person. So
I think that if you're going out with somebody and they're taking the lead, you're going to an event that they initiated. I think that if a person really wants to be responsible and anti-clumsy, they're gonna be like, what do you think I should wear? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like if I'm going out, like, I had ticket for the symphony for years. Like I was, I've subscribed like every single woman that I took to the symphony was like, is this cool? Is this here for the symphony? And that's how you got a level of trust in a relationship where it's like you could wear whatever you want, but I appreciate you checking in. And I ain't never checked no one on their outfits. I mean, because we're gonna be safe no matter what. I think that you threw a curveball in there with the marijuana smoke. Yeah, that's something. That's like the equivalent of like you going out with someone in mixed company and blended company and they drunk. Hey, come on, bro. Come on, sis. Like, are you for real?
But it's about asking somebody to do or not do something if they have full autonomy to do it or not.
Right. And I think that comes down to trust in a relationship. I think that some people, when you're with male or female or them or they, they're going to get offended if you say, hey, man, can you not do this? Could you not wear that? And it comes down to the trust of relationship. And I'm with you, Bobby. And we still got to listen to what Precious got to say. Like, there shouldn't be a problem for you to say, can you just not do that for this night?
Mm-hmm.
This is important for me. It's just important for me. And I always appreciated, the women I've always gone on and say, hey, man, is this cool? Like, what's the occasion? How should I dress? That's a level of maturity and respect for the relationship. What you think, Precious?
It's interesting we having this conversation because I had something similar to this happen to me. I was maybe 20 or 22, and let me just say this, and I'm not the type to brag, but Precious P can dress down, especially when it comes to work. I dress up every day, and the guy I was with at the time, he was this is one relationship probably should never happen, but I'm glad it did because I learned a lot from it. But anyway, the point is, we tend to go to the movies oftentimes after work. I would come straight off of work to go straight there because, again, I look nice. And he would be there kind of in like some sweats or some basic shoes or whatever. And he literally...
Skechers.
So what?
Skechers.
I don't know if it was Skechers. Good question. I don't know if they were Skechers or not. Been a long time. I know they were black. But I remember him saying to me, why you always have to dress like that? And I was like, what do you mean? He like, why are you not dressing down? You always got to be dressed up. And my response was, why the fuck you ain't dressed up? And I remember exactly what I had on that day. I had a lavender button-up polo shirt on with the dark purple stripes on it, with some black, no, it was like grayish trousers on with some purple heel with a matching purple purse. So that's how I was dressing that day. But apparently he had an issue with what I was wearing that day. I was like, well, I ain't changing because I look pretty damn good in this outfit. So we finna go to this movie theater and have some fun. I said, so open my car door, let's go to this movie. So that's exactly what we did. We went straight to the movie theater, and he didn't question nothing else about my outfit. Because, again, I was just dressed, I was really covered up. Like, I looked like I just came off of work. But I think now, looking back at it, I think he may felt insecure himself.
It's projection.
It was definitely was projecting because I'm about to put his business out there. But, oh, well, he'll be all right. But, hey, if he listening, he listening. But, at this time he was kind of going through a little patch because I want to say he dropped out of college at that time. I'm not sure he dropped out or kicked out. I don't know what happened, but he came back. So I think he was starting to struggle, but he never revealed that to me. He kept everything hush hush. But I think at that time I was excelling. I was going to college. I had a job. I just got a new car. I was at that time I was rolling in my early 20s. So I think now looking back at it, it may be some jealousy.
Your success was imposed on him. He did not feel like an equal.
He did.
And the easiest thing to do, instead of, because I mean, ultimately, right, like your clothing is just attire. It has a price. It might have been easier for you to dress less expensively, and then for him to buy more expensive clothes.
Probably.
That would have been easier.
Not even buy expensive clothes, just
wear.
Just to put his outfit together better.
Sure.
You understand? And you know what's so funny? I tried doing that for him with the good piece that he did have in his closet, and he did not want to wear it.
Yeah,
he flat out didn't want to wear it.
Well, I wouldn't be into a woman trying to dress me either. So I understand that. I understand.
I mean, he don't know what to wear. I think just when he was trying to meet my parents. And it wasn't no suit or tie or anything. It wasn't nothing like that. I'd say, hey, just wear this. It was a camel color sweater because it was cold at the time. It was like October, November time frame. It was cold outside. I put one of his really good pair of Jordans he had. It actually went with the outfit. So I put that in with some jeans and there was a crew neck camel color sweater. And he didn't want to wear it.
You tried to get them together.
I was trying to get them together. And he did not like it. He did not like it. But so he came meet my parents, whatever he wanted to wear that day.
Did your mama say something?
Oh, she definitely said something.
See,
she didn't say it there because she never liked it him. My dad really didn't know him all that much, but yeah, my brothers and my mom didn't like him.
Mm. Let's move on.
But
We got about
15 minutes left.
We got about 15 minutes. I want to talk about these Michael B. Jordan and Johnathan Majors.
Man, boy, woo!
And because that fits into our black masculinity and emasculating black men. So they're saying that these pictures, and it'd be nice if I had some visuals to pop up here. I got to work on my editing skills.
PowerPoint.
But they're all hugged up. A couple of them kind of like this.
Precious enjoying this too much.
And people are saying, "Oh, this is too feminine. They looking kind of gay." Because it's all for the branding and the marketing and the promotion of Creed 3, which I saw the film. It was solid.
Pretty good.
It was cool. I thought the acting was kind of whack, but I give
it on a scale of 1 to 10. I give it like a 6 or a 7. I want to say
okay, 6. Say 6 then. That's a D. But listen, that's definitely a D. That's below average. But
listen, double entendre, maybe a triple.
Yikes.
But I think Johnathan Majors took that. I think his acting was honestly, he was my favorite character out that movie. I ain't gonna lie, he was my favorite one.
What are your thoughts on the pictures of Johnathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan? They're hugged up, cheek to cheek at some point, head to head, temple to temple. What you think?
I thought to me, I felt they were just clowning. Just pure clowning.
Bobby.
I mean, I like what Johnathan Majors said. He had this comment. They asked him about it. And he said not that masculinity is about this, but if it were, how many of these guys who are talking would actually walk up on me? And I was like, that's a great question, because they know what you look like, and I would bet that the majority of them would not do it. And he said, but it's important to realize that still wouldn't make me a man. And I was like, he's got it. Because what he was saying was, if you use the traditional metrics, strength, power, all that, I obviously have that. But it's okay for me to also have other characteristics. And he talked about vulnerability. He talked about courage. He talked about the ability to tap into other kinds of energies and other moods, essentially. And he was like, maybe you do take a picture that makes you look vulnerable, but it doesn't change anything else about you. And he was saying the courage to do that, knowing that somebody else is going to have a comment about it, is also its own kind of strength. I couldn't disagree. I couldn't agree with that more, because it's true. Like, you put stuff out there and people are going to have a response to it. And some of it is going to be this kind of conversation where people are saying you're soft or whatever. But what kind of courage and self-confidence do you have to have? What type of strength in your male ego do you have to kind of say, I'm okay with that, bring all of it on? Because that's its own kind of strength. In addition to the fact that he probably is physically stronger than all of these people who are talking. So for me, it's like, hey, this man is telling you I'm stronger than you emotionally, physically, and mentally. Oh, well. And I respect the hell out of that, because I would feel the same way. So I get it.
I think the problem with people today is that people think that you have to be so one-dimensional instead of having multi-faces in your dimension. Like, some people feel like if you're not this, you got to be that. If you're not that, you got to be this. Why can't one person could actually be both at the same time, or based on the circumstances at hand? This kind of brings up the topic that we talked about, that people still talk about. I don't know why. I thought we left it in 2022, but apparently still alive and well. That's when people want to bring up masculinity and femininity. I say, y'all fail to realize those energy has nothing to do with gender. We all possess those two energies, and we use them interchangeably depending on the situation or the circumstances, or if you're a well-balanced person, they are both operating at the same damn time.
Right. That's right. You're totally right. I feel like if you were to catch me with my sons, and I know some people's like, yo, your sons is different than like you and Bobby and da-da-da. But if you were to snap a shot of me and my sons, me being affectionate with my sons, being loving and nurturing, you get some pictures that are similar, if not identical, to Johnathan Major and Michael B. Jordan. Easy. When I see my sons, I kiss them on the cheek or their forehead, their nose, whatever. I don't see anything wrong with it. But it's a cultural thing too. When you go to other cultures, that's what they do. They might kiss you
They
on the cheek.
do.
You know what I'm saying? I just think that I will say that I think that people be like, oh, there's an agenda by Hollywood to emasculate black men, make them feminine, and be on some. They have a gay agenda. Okay, that's one way to look at it. I think it's an anti-black agenda, though. I think they present things knowing it's going to trigger us and cause us to be in disagreement and be in conflict. They know that's like if I do a photo shoot, that person who's a photographer, 9 out of 10 times, if not 10 out of 10 times, they have directions. The people who are the targets and the people in those photos, like Johnathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan, they just show up. They even have a person who dresses them. You know why I know this? I've been there before. I have my little experience in the entertainment business and doing all. Yeah, you show up and you show up and they have racks of clothes. Wear this, wear that, wear this. And I'm not gonna even lie, man. This is a different story. I'm like, I'm not wearing that. I have to tell them I'm not wearing the leather tight skinny. No, I'm not wearing those. No. I see what you're trying to do. No, we're not doing that.
No,
I wasn't ready. But I think it's an anti-black agenda because they know that's going to get us talking. They know there's going to be some black alpha masculine men and be like, oh, that's some gay stuff. Oh God, look what they do, you know. But then there's going to be men, you know, who are going to be like, I'm good with it. I'm fine with it. Now listen, I might not have taken a couple of those poses for any other reason. What I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable being cheek to cheek with Bobby. I don't.
Even if I shave?
No, I don't want to be cheek to cheek with you, dude. Not unless you're my son or something. Like, but even if I did that, I already know what you like. If I were to pose for that, come on, man. I'm not like, let's take the cap off, man. I know what you're trying to do, man. I might have, even with my son, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Hey, I want you guys to take off your shirt and be shirt to shirt, and I want you to grab your son from behind, and nah, I'm good. Because I know what you're trying to do. I know what images you're trying to put out there to get us arguing, get us talking. You're trying to trigger people. See, I'm not really into triggering people. I'm not into that. I'm into giving people consent of what they hear and what they see. You know? Hey, man, is it cool if I share this with you? Hey, man, I got something deep I want to talk to you. You got a minute to talk? I'm not just like splash some stuff in front of your face and be like, you know what you're doing.
Would you also say those industries do that type of stuff? So when the black individual get abroad, they're finally, see, this is why we can't work with this person because this person is aggressive. They're not willing. They're difficult to work with. They do things knowing that it may put them off and make them feel uncomfortable. So they quit this to label them as like they are difficult to work with. Don't promote that. No, don't do that.
Maybe because I know that Denzel, there's a little video excerpt that's been circulating the internet, and there's some things he just won't do. He won't do it. You know, and as an artist and entertainer, you know, that was one of my biggest things. You know, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian. I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be something. I still do that stuff, but I chose to be a father and a husband. But I'm like, I always thought, man, I'm not doing that, man. You know, and it's just because you have to look at what does it all mean. And I think those are just trigger things, man. Those are trigger things. And I think that, and it's a form of trolling too. It's trolling and triggering.
I love that.
I think Michael B. Jordan and Johnathan Majors are trolling us.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So we can have a conversation. So he can say what he said. And that is a part of being an artist leader. Like you're being an intellectual leader. Like I know they're gonna say this. I got my already predetermined scripted response. What Bobby said, that was dope. But I don't think we should have any kind of analysis about who those black men are as men based on those pictures.
We know nothing more about them.
Okay, picture.
Yeah, we know nothing except they fine as hell.
Let me say this real quick, Bobby and Precious. They were in a movie called Creed 3 where they were boxers. Neither one of them were boxers. So the pictures and the images are very deceiving.
Oh my God. Let it be talking.
And what's funny is that I have some experience also in film, and I was a boxer in a film.
Yeah.
Really?
And I'm not a boxer. So it is what it is.
Well, yeah, I actually box a little bit, but it'd be the same thing, man. It's just like I play roles of, of a nightclub owner, who was a bootlegger. I'm not that. You know what I'm saying?
I was a drug dealer.
Oh, you was a drug dealer before in a play,
yes.
a movie?
Yes.
Okay. But now you're a prosecutor, ain't that so?
Yes. And Franklin from this show that everybody watches is from the United Kingdom.
Yeah, he is so awesome. His accent is awesome.
He's from the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Just like the guy that played Lamar on BMF, I believe he's from the UK or from Europe himself. And I never would have guessed, because man, this dude is a good actor, man. This dude is unhinged. He is unhinged. I'm like, this dude.
So based on what we talked about, we got 4 minutes. Let's get into it. I thought this was going to last 30 minutes, and then 15 minutes went, 20 minutes went, 30 minutes went, 40 minutes went, and now we have 56. Hey, it feels good to be back. We back. C-Talk. What's the plan of action based on what we talked about today? Masculinity with all these images. We didn't get to the Melle Mel thing. That's something else. We'll get to that. Melle Mel is hilarious.
I don't know who the hell that is, so y'all can keep that. I'll pass on that Steve talk. Come bring me back for another one.
Melle Mel is hilarious. But what's the plan of action when we talk about black masculinity, emasculating black men with these images of Michael B. Jordan, Johnathan Majors, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky, and Ciara and Russell Wilson? Go ahead, Bobby.
I'll just start with the most basic thing, which is focus on yourself first. I'm always going to start internally and then work my way out. Secondly, if we're going to redefine masculinity, if that's what we're being asked to do, let's base it in things that are achievable regardless of finances, regardless of what I call prototypical success, because you can be financially unsuccessful and still be a good father. You can be financially unsuccessful and still be a loyal partner. You can be financially unsuccessful and still be a good mentor. You can be financially unsuccessful and still be a great teacher and role model. So for me, it's about changing the ways that we evaluate each other as men. And we talk about this. So if you have friends who are financially successful, but they're bad fathers, but they're bad partners, but they're not good members of the community, we need to do something to address that. It's not good enough for them to just be good by, I guess, what we'll call our Eurocentric metrics. Like let's move the needle on the things that improve the community. And let's hold each other accountable for those things. And then maybe we won't feel the need to compare ourselves to our women who are being successful in some of those quote unquote Eurocentric metrics that have traditionally been things that men have led in. Because you can have it both ways. You can be a good father and support your wife who makes more money than you. It's okay. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. I'll go next. I add on to what Bobby says. I think you need to, whoever you're with, romantically or in a friendship, when you're presenting yourselves out there to the public, have a plan of how you're going to present yourself. Um, and make sure that that plan is centered around being responsible and being safe. I look at when we go out into the public, it's good to have a uniform. I remember back in the day when we were younger, um, we would have something called gear check. So we would go out to the club or we go out and hang out. My homeboy, he might have to, borrow some clothes from me because he's like, all right, gear check. How y'all look? How we look? Oh, the shoes is cool. And oh man, but that shirt, all right, let me borrow something. And it's the same thing when you go out. It's like you have each other's back and you're a unit. And um who you are as a person, as a man, as a woman, or whoever, it should not be determined by what you wear. It's by what you do. And I understand that what you wear can also symbolize and indicate what you do, because Russell Wilson wears a football uniform on Sundays because it indicates what he does on that day. He plays football. I get that. But it's also a measurement of who he is as a person is by what he does. So no matter what you wear, as a group and as a community and as a partnership with male, females, them, they, romantic, platonic, business, whatever, it should be concentrated on not what you wear, but what you actually do when you're wearing it. What you think? Precious, what you think? What you doing?
She over there looking at pictures of Johnathan.
Ah! You muted.
My
Precious,
mic
you
was
muted.
mute. I said it sounds good. I was telling him about he sound good.
Uh-huh.
Well, my point of action is this: I want to say the great Maya Angelou said this, and she said something in the midst of, if you don't like something about yourself, change it. But if you can't change it, change your attitude about it.
Mm.
And that is the message I have for the black men who have issues with how you put it, comprehending or absorbing these sort of scenario we just listed in a healthy way. You need to find out what I'm trying to say is fellas need to ask themselves, what is manhood and what that means to you. Two, do you even like your own manhood? And if you don't like it, what is it about it that you don't like about your own manhood? Not nobody else, not measured by anybody else but what is it about yourself as a male species that you don't like? And you need to whether work on that, or let's say you can't change it, or you don't want to change it, then you need to change your attitude about it. Because your attitude is, there's a little saying I remember when I worked in the library in my early 20s. It said your attitude is your aptitude in life, or something like that. It went. With that being said, when you change your attitude or change whatever you don't like about your manhood, I think many of you will be in a lot more healthier space. I think you'll be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life, because I think many suffer from very low self-esteem and self-confidence. I can say that about black women, but that's a different topic because there's some layers to that one. So that's my message to that. And since I'm a black woman, for the black women who feels triggered by these same situations, you need to ask yourself, why do you feel triggered? This is really, for most of you, this is really not your fight. So you need to ask it. I'm pretty sure a lot of probably from a speaking piece for males, but you got to let men handle their own thing, ladies. You need to worry about, make sure your womanhood is in check, and make sure your womanhood is not only a detriment to other women who may or may not live a different thread of life from you, but also don't be a detriment to yourself. So for the men who are searching, trying to heal whatever issue they have with their manhood, you just need to be there for support if you want to be there. You don't need to sponsor anything, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect us as the black female gender in this community. It's going to affect us greatly in a bad way if the men don't figure out their own manhood.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep. Well,
And that's mine.
There it is. C Talk. Make sure that you share this video. Make sure that you're commenting and whatnot. If you would like to donate, go ahead and donate. Cash App, Logic Man, $ Logic Man, Venmo at Logic Man. But please share this video, comment, and we'll get at you next time. We out.